everyone and welcome. Today we're looking at the world of mobility through a slightly different lens. For those of us who have been in the mobility industry for a few years, it's easy to think that you've seen it all, done it all, and been exposed to many different kinds of customers from all over the world. We hear a lot about the war for talent these days and the lengths companies will go to source great candidates to join their organisations. But there's one talent pool which is very overlooked, one source of candidates that you probably haven't considered, and that's refugees or displaced persons. Today, I'm joined by Holly Asquith, Head of UK Programmes for Talent Beyond Boundaries, an organisation that seeks to connect potential employers with potential employees, all of whom are refugees. As the world of work continues to change, and the social and cultural values of employers become increasingly key to attracting and retaining talent, we'll be looking today at mobility as a force for good. How tapping into this reserve of overlooked talent can benefit not only the person themselves, but also the company they join, and by extension, the world as a whole. So welcome, Holly. So Holly, can you give us an overview of Talent Beyond Boundaries, what your aims are and how you work?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to start by thanking you for having me here today. Really appreciate the opportunity to share. So Talent Beyond Boundaries, or TBB for short, is a global non-profit organisation working to ensure that refugees and other displaced people have equal access to skilled migration opportunities and pathways. We do this by connecting hiring employers to skilled refugees who are in need of routes to safety and are ready to put their professional experience to practice. We work with governments, partners and the private sector to design tailored immigration programmes that ensure refugees and other displaced people have equal access to these skilled migration pathways. So as an additional route to sort of humanitarian and protection programmes. So far, over 1,000 refugees have secured a durable solution to their displacement through TBB. And over the next 5 years, we aim to help more than 15,000 refugees relocate to stable lives. We currently have on the ground regional teams and operations, as well as partners working in Australia, North America, Europe, the Middle East, Latin America, East Africa, and Southeast Asia, and the UK, of course.
Brilliant. Okay, so truly global then. From an HR perspective, we hear a lot about the war for talent nowadays and talent shortages. And I imagine that not many HR people have considered refugees as a talent pool. So can you talk a bit more about that and maybe let me know some of the most common skill sets that you see amongst the refugees that you help?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've really seen that the skills and professional experience of registered individuals spans across some of the biggest industries worldwide. We work around a sort of central piece of software and database for displaced talent, and that now has over 78,000 profiles of individuals that have the skills and professional experience that employers and HR teams are looking for. So for the candidates themselves, it works a bit like a LinkedIn profile where you sort of register your skills, your professional experience, your qualifications, and the fields of expertise cover a range of the most sought after professions in the medical field, legal, engineering and technology, just to name a few. We've also seen that many of the candidates that have been put forward for job opportunities have very specific skill sets and are already trained in particular sort of coding and software for IT opportunities or in key medical equipment operations for those working in healthcare, etc. We've also been working with some employers on sort of train to hire models where actually candidates are able to do some of the training in source countries before they move to sort of destination countries for that sort of mobility piece.
Brilliant. Okay, so everything then from any kind of skill basically you can pretty much help with. That's great.
Yeah, we've had butchers, we've had 3D animators, lawyers, doctors, etc.
Fantastic. And what are the benefits that a refugee can bring to a company? What do you think their unique skills might be that you perhaps wouldn't get from someone who had not had that life experience?
Yeah, there's many benefits that come with hiring displaced talent at the organizational level, economic and personal levels as well. So to give you some examples, 94% of employers surveyed who have hired through our program say they're highly likely to recruit again. And a number of them have indeed come back for additional hires, which is a real sort of testament to the value of the candidates that they've managed to employ. We've also seen that candidates relocating through our programs tend to have a high sense of loyalty to their employer after being, essentially lifted out of unsafe and precarious situations. So another example, we've seen a retention rates in the UK of 97% after 1 year of employment. So that loyalty is really sort of quite transparent there. Moreover, sort of teams within hiring organisations have seen a boost in morale and a sense of pride as a result of, working on these recruitment processes, given the positive social impact. And I guess to add to that, we work with partners such as the International Organization for Migration, which can provide sort of training for employees before they welcome their new recruits on the sort of context of displacement, which can be an added learning opportunity. Last but not least, I would say that the direct benefits of hiring displaced individuals are the multicultural experience that they can bring to their new teams, new languages, new ways of working that enrich the workplace and internal work environment.
Right, fantastic. And can you share any specific success stories of people you've assisted to move and they've taken up a corporate role quite recently and it's been successful for all concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. So thankfully, we've got no shortage of success stories from our candidates who have relocated. I'll pull out one story in particular, and that's of Maria. She is now living in Sheffield in the UK and working in a global immigration firm, sort of law firm, where she puts her professional experience to practice. She's working as a paralegal there, originally from Afghanistan, but upon the Taliban takeover, she not only lost her job and her capacity to work as a woman, but also feared for her and her family's safety. Despite having all the necessary qualifications and experience working in NGOs and in the legal field, she couldn't find a way out of her situation until she registered on our talent catalogue and was consequently matched with the law firm that would soon be her employer. Her credentials were really impressive, and she's now working in that highly competitive field thanks to them. And not only was she lifted out of displacement, but of course her husband and her 2 small children as well. So really sort of sets them up for a new life in the UK. There's thousands of people like Maria who are ready to start working, and they just sort of need that opportunity and that first step.
Yeah, just need that door to open.
Exactly.
Okay. And what advice would you give to HR people who are maybe thinking of going down this route and employing a displaced person, but they don't really know where to start and what to expect? What advice could you give them?
Yeah, so firstly, I would just encourage employers to be part of this innovative scheme to lead the way on displaced talent mobility. So at the end of 2022, there were almost 110 million people worldwide who were forcibly displaced. So really what we're doing is sort of scratching the surface of this humanitarian issue. The work we're doing is pioneering, and labour mobility is increasingly recognised as part of this solution. So it's a pivotal time for these programs that are in these sort of initial stages, and it's not only the right thing to do, but the smart thing to do. As we've talked about with some of the sort of examples of the benefits for business. We work with, so TBB, we work with all types of organisations from companies with 14 employees to 40,000 employees. So whether you're a pioneer looking to put something new on your sort of HR agenda, or you already do international recruitment, it makes logical sense. The first step is to speak to our team. They'll ask the right questions, what you're looking for, what support you might need, what your structures in place that you have, what information we can give you to make the case at your organisation. And we really are sort of there every step of the way to tailor that support. So the advice really would be to make a start and get in touch.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time today, Holly. That's a wealth of information and certainly some food for thought. I hope our audience found that as interesting as I did. If you'd like more information about Talent Beyond Boundaries, the details are on your screen now for you. Until next time, goodbye.